So
Gotcha.
yeah, that'll do. That'll do. You got the resume. Is
Yep.
there any like so Q&A? You got last like 15 minutes to do whatever.
Yeah, yeah. I want to touch back briefly on the coding interview because I think that's the part I really need to work on.
Hmm.
Of course, resume too, but uh, what you told me about, okay, from this I could see that you don't think about your design. Like that's the last thing I want to give off. You know what I mean? Like, and that's
Hmm.
really irony because I care about that the most in my team, and that's the main reason I reject code reviews. And the fact that like I got that or I showed that vibe was super shocking to me, and I never want to do that again. You know what I mean? So
Hmm.
let me just summarize the session, right?
Hmm.
What I wrote down is that you don't want to see somebody who just starts coding without thinking about the design, right? So that's
Hmm.
number one.
Hmm.
And the fact that I started coding and then like after that I started testing about the design was a really bad sign, because then you can imply that, okay, this person didn't think through the design, didn't think to make sure that design works
Hmm.
before they started coding, right? So that's something I want to avoid.
Uh-huh.
Um, I didn't even come up with a good design. So even when after you gave me the design, I couldn't even, do. So I feel like I was able to identify actually. So my weakness was actually in a different area. I feel like because I thought my weakness was to the ability to not be able to find, or I lack the ability to identify what tools to use in order to attack. I feel like I actually found, okay, I got to use in order, I got to use stack. So that was fine, but
Hmm.
me actually implementing it and being able to use it, it was the problem. I
Hmm.
actually couldn't believe myself that I couldn't even use a stack, you know?
Hmm.
Um, which then comes down to more practice. I kind of, and I'm starting to doubt, man. Like I feel like, man, shoot, do I not have the gift, or
There's no such
I
thing,
feel like,
dude. Trust me. I was like, I was complete fucking shit when I did these coding interviews.
yeah,
Um, and so really the only thing it comes down to is how consistent you are at actually solving them.
yeah,
And it's like,
consistent. Uh-huh.
yeah, I'm like, don't underestimate. I think most people end up doing like anywhere from 150 to 300 hours of practice before they even start their coding interviews.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I did it for like, oh yeah, I said I was gonna send you the doc, right? But essentially, this is the way I found that I was able uh, to do these interviews. At least this is the best way I think. Um, let's see, get link, copy link. It's 50 pages, so take your time to read it.
Yeah, gotcha.
But essentially, it just boils down to like you probably do you play like you play video games, I assume, right?
Yeah,
Do you play like League of Legends or Dota?
I did play Dota before. Now I don't play that much anymore, but I know, yeah, I know general like idea or platform.
Yeah. Okay. So basically, you know the difference between like someone at the like 5K, 6K level versus 3, 4K level.
No.
The difference is that they is like the 3 and 4K person might actually understand the right thing to do, but they're unable to execute
Yeah,
it.
yeah,
But
yeah.
as you go higher up in the MR, they'll just do the right thing and faster. That's really it.
Ah, oh, oh.
That's literally all it is. It's like I think at some point, like you're at the level of okay, I understand what to do, but I don't know how to execute it. So
Yeah,
essentially, I would rank it at like a 3K level if
yeah,
this
yeah,
was a like Dota thing.
yeah, yeah,
And really, the only way you really get to better and better is just practicing and being
yeah,
faster at whatever it is, and just like seeing those problems before, seeing similar
yeah,
situations, and just kind of knowing what to do. Because like if I go into an interview and I've never seen a similar problem, to
Yeah.
what I'm seeing. I fucking potato. I'm not gonna lie. Like I don't know what the
Yeah.
fuck I'm doing. Like I'll do what you just did and just like try random fucking shit, and I
Okay.
will fucking bomb the interview. But that's also a sign me saying that's a sign telling me that I've never seen this kind of problem. I need to practice these kind of problems.
Yeah. So that's the main thing.
Yeah, like again, like you heard from that guy, he did well in that interview because he's seen stuff similar to it. And you could go
Yeah.
to like any other one. I'll send you like there's one with a high school competitive programmer who got an MIT. He was giving a graph problem, and he's like, "Yeah, I've seen this a similar problem before because it's strongly connected components, and
Mm,
I've seen strongly connected components before." So if you look at all these interviews, the one thing they always say is that they've
yeah.
seen stuff similar to it before. So that's all you really need to do, just and be able to
I see.
optimize on that.
Yeah. So the reason I ask is, do you think these companies, these interviewers expect people to practice, or are they really looking for someone with just like natural born talent that can just solve these problems without seeing something similar before? And that's the type of software developers they want to recruit. You know what I mean? Like then makes me question like, man, am I really in the right field? Am I, really cut out to be a software engineer? So those are the things that were going through in my mind as I was doing your problem.
Yeah,
Any
it's
thoughts on that? Yeah.
that sounds more like imposter syndrome, more than
Is it?
anything. Because
Uh,
like you're wondering like, oh shit, am I really cut out for this? Oh, these people are so good, da 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 da. And that that just
yeah.
happens when you're around people who are better than you, and that's fine. You just grow to accept it. Like I can tell you, when I first got into Apple, everyone around me had freaking
Yeah.
master's degrees.
Yeah.
I'm the only one who doesn't. I'm 10 years younger than anyone else.
Yeah.
So that should, if anyone had imposter syndrome, that should have been me. But
Yeah.
honestly, I
So
just
you've
kind
been
of
through
grew to
that?
accept I am into that. And I
Yeah.
just said, fuck it. I'm not, it's like, like in the title of the document, welcome to the coding interview. You suck. And being a software engineer and anything is just knowing that you suck and that you can always get better.
Yeah.
That's really
That's really
it.
good
Like,
advice.
I don't know why people think imposter syndrome is something you get over. Not really. It's more like you just accept that you suck and that there's always
Yeah.
something new to learn. That's really it.
Makes sense. Makes sense. So in your opinion, based on your experience in what's your let me word it this way. What's your ideal person that to work with? Like in terms of a developer, like so let's say picture this like whether it's your subordinate or your coworker,
Uh-huh.
uh, what kind of person is this? In terms of personality, the skill set. I'm basically getting at like what's a good software engineer? What's your ideal definition of like decent or great software engineer that
Hmm.
separates from mediocre ones?
It that's a good question. I think it boils down to like I think probably two things. One, can
Yeah,
they handle themselves? Do I need to like I don't need to babysit them? Like if I
yeah,
give
yeah,
them if I say, hey, we need to do this, they know what questions to ask to clarify it, and they know how to do it. And if they don't
yeah,
know how to do it, they know who to ask to do it. They know the right questions to ask.
yeah.
And the second one is that they don't for lack of a better way of saying it, piss me off. Like,
They were
they
sorry,
like
say that
they
again.
so they don't piss me off.
Oh, okay, okay,
Because
okay.
there's some people who are very fucking good at their jobs, very very
Yeah,
smart, but they act like a total ass.
yeah.
Like
I
I'm
know
like
what you
fuck
mean.
this. I'm not talking to this person. It's literally
Yeah,
like it just boils down to those two things. Like I
yeah,
get also it's like also it's problematic if the guy doesn't like speak up and he doesn't really know how to communicate
yeah,
because like he might be very smart, but if he doesn't know how to get like the ask the right questions or whether that's from personality or lack of experience,
yeah.
then that leads to a very big problem where he might be solving the wrong problem that could easily be avoided with just an email.
Gotcha.
Because we're all gonna make like mistakes and stuff. It's just
Yeah,
we want to avoid the obvious ones.
makes sense. And I definitely agree with that. So yeah, I need to practice for sure. I I feel like I can do this. So I'm gonna put in a lot of hours into practicing. You're a really good interviewer, by the way. I just want to give you the feedback.
Mhm.
You're pretty fair. You're straight, straightforward. You're not like trying to prove that you're better than this other person, which a lot of interviewers do, by the way. So I felt like you're really fair. The feedback was good. I would like to do this again after I practice more and I feel more. I feel like, okay, this is another time. I
Mhm.
can have Ed kind of go over and do another coding interview. Would you be open for that, or what's
Yeah,
your
that's
opinion?
fine. That's fine.
Okay,
Usually I
cool.
like working more with people who have practiced, only because it
Yeah,
leads to more interesting problems. I think I
yeah.
remember I was coaching someone who was having problems with optimizations. Like they would
Yeah.
get a solution, but it would always be a non-optimal one. And then
Uh-huh.
that was a very interesting conversation to have with him. I don't think I recorded it, but essentially it boils down to being methodic in your approach to optimization.
Yeah.
And once you can do that, then you don't potato out. I'm just gonna call it
Uh,
potatoing.
yeah, I like that. So once I practice a couple more, to a point where I don't potato out on any problems, let me hit you back up.
Or I
I'm
mean,
gonna be
like,
with
don't
you
get me
again.
wrong, I'll potato out on some problems as well. Like, I did that on one of my Google interviews, and it was just
Yeah.
like, fuck, I just got fucked over because of that. But for the most part, I'm pretty consistent. At least from the last rounds of interviews I did. I got offers from LinkedIn, Google, despite me
Nice.
potatoing on that. I did Facebook and Uber. Yeah, so I was pretty high hit rate on that. I also got like, I
Yeah,
also
dude,
did
that's
like,
awesome.
yeah. So it's really just being consistent with
Mhm.
it, and yeah, yeah.
You are where I want to get to. So, uh, yeah, let's do that. So I'm gonna practice and see
Uh-huh.
if I can better myself, at least not potato out on most of the problems.
Mm-hmm.
And whether we do another Zoom session or if I need advice through chat, uh,
Mm-hmm.
let me hit you up. Yeah.
Yeah, sure thing. Just definitely the guide I wrote should help you get started at least.
Yeah. The you suck interview or the document.
Yeah.
Okay. Cool. Yeah, I appreciate everything you did, man. This is awesome. I feel like the part about the imposter syndrome definitely is something I want to keep in my mind, and uh, now I feel like I can do this. I feel like, okay, if all I need is practice, let me just put those hours in, and put some quality practice and hopefully get to where I want to get to within the
Mm-hmm.
next, soon, I guess.
Yeah, that makes
Anything for
sense.
me? Like, did you get any red flags other than obvious the coding part in terms of the way I present myself? Anything that you
Your
think I should work
communication
on?
ability to speak is fine.
Uh-huh.
It's really hard for me to say only because you were so focused on the problem that you
Yeah.
there was nothing else. Like essentially you were screwed over the moment you weren't prepared essentially.
Yeah.
And that nothing
Yep.
I can say or do is going to change that. So that feedback is pretty much like impossible to give. Like it's like you're thinking about refining your presentation when you can't even give the presentation.
Yeah. Yeah. I see what you mean.
Yeah,
But
so
I
here
didn't.
I'm gonna.
Hopefully, I didn't give off like an asshole, or like someone who would not listen to feedback, or someone who is stubborn. Hopefully, I didn't give any of that.
No, no, no. Like I honestly, that's a whole different problem. That can be fixed very, very easily.
Yeah.
And what you're talking about is
What's up, everyone?
oh, hold up, let me send you this one.
Uh huh.
What
Oh,
you're
that's
talking
the
about is
yeah.
a refinement on top of once you've mastered the interview, then the
Yeah.
presentation can be done after that. But
Got
you
it.
have a bigger fundamental problem that needs to be done. So these are the
All
coding
right.
interviews I recommend you watch. Watch how they
Yeah.
approach it. Watch what questions they ask, and kind of observe and copy like how they do problems.
Got it. Good reference. Okay. All right. Hey, thanks for your time, man.
Mm-hmm.
I really, really appreciate it. I needed this. I needed
Mm-hmm.
somebody to tell me or point out, and actually see myself, you know, and fail it and see what where the shortcomings are. Definitely
Mm-hmm.
helpful.
Okay. All right. I'm gonna sign off. Take
Okay.
care, man.
All right, man. Thanks, buddy. Have a good day. Be
Yeah, you
safe.
too. Bye bye. Yep.
Bye.
Bye.